Of course. It's got 4 legs.
And 2 wings.
6 limbs. No vertebrate that ever lived has 6 limbs. It's true, every land-based vertebrate on the planet has 4 limbs. Front feet, back feet, arms and legs. And airborne creatures too, feet and wings. They all have 4 limbs. But not this dragon. It's got 6. It can't be a fake, not now. If those legs are for real, then they'll show up in its DNA. Oh my. Now that's some freaky mutation. This creature has a genetic adaptation unlike anything in the animal kingdom, and wouldn't you know it? In the gene responsible for generating limbs. And it's here in mythology, too. The Chinese, the Aztecs, Polynesians, they all drew images of creatures with the same adaptation, giant 6-limbed reptiles. The clue was there all along. How could I have missed it? These drawings aren't wild imagination. They're records. These primitive people were telling us something, and we weren't listening. And if the images are accurate, then there are even more evidence that there were many types of dragon, and they lived everywhere on the planet. Okay, we've got evidence for a marine dragon, the sea serpent of legend, a forest dragon that lived in Asia, the Chinese dragon that adorns 1,000 pots. And you, well, let's call you the mountain dragon. Have you left your mark on European folk history? Romania, dragon iconography. Here you are. Recorded in stained glass. The locals called you the devil from the mountains. And the legend conforms pretty much to type, terrorizing local folk, raiding livestock, breathing fire, a monumental battle to the death. Is this a 15th century photograph of you? So the local farmers gave you a name, the Mountain Devil. And what kind of devil were you? We're down to the wire. They'll be moving the body out any minute, and I'll have to leave with it. One last check. Could we have missed something? What's that in the heart?
It's something embedded in the right atrium.
That's not organic matter. This could be really important. Unequivocal evidence that dragons and humans were at war.
Throughout the age of mammals, dragons survived. But their survival was precarious. Fire was the ace that kept them one step ahead of the competition. But in time, a new mammal emerged. small, vulnerable, but supremely intelligent. Physically, man was no match for a dragon, but he recognized the possibilities of fire. With fire, mankind could clear forests for farmland, mold metal into savage weapons. In the evolutionary blink of an eye, mankind was pushing the most deadly predator in the natural history of our planet to the verge of extinction. They had turned the dragon's most potent weapon against them. The stories of these epic battles were recorded in folklore around the world, culminating here in Romania. A dark story passed down through generations. The story of a demon on a mountaintop, and of knights drawn into the mist, never to be seen again. Until now.
Humans and dragons, mortal enemies. If these knights went looking for a dragon, it looks like they found one. This isn't ice damage, this is carbonization. These men were burned alive by a dragon for sure, but not ours. Our dragon never breathed fire. We haven't finished yet.
Yes, we have.
Look. Look. Carbon. I found it on one of those bodies out there. Those bodies have been scorched. They're right, of course. It's the find of the century, and we can't risk it turning to mush. But the mountains are calling me. What did those men find up there?
They're ready for it!
This section here. Am I just reading this? Is this a reproductive system? These are oviducts, right? Small ovaries. The female. Yet there's no evidence of follicular activity. The reproductive tract is immature.
It's a juvenile.
It's a baby. That clinched it. The creature in the autopsy room was a baby. The cave wasn't just the scene of a random crime. It was a nest. The local myth is starting to sound remarkably like an accurate verbal account of a real event. The knights weren't killed by our dragon. They were killed by an adult, perhaps defending its young. A dragon corpse can tell us how their bodies worked, but a nest, it can tell us so much more, how they lived. My guess, up in those mountains, we'll find evidence for a dragon family.
Tanner is about to unravel a medieval tragedy. It is the 15th century, and a mountain dragon is under threat. The distant ancestors of this female mountain dragon fed on the wild herds that roamed the vast Asian grasslands. But the herds were tamed by man. For dragons, they were no longer fair game. They were livestock. And so the dragons that gorged themselves on the plains have been driven to the remote regions of Europe. And in this remote place, wild game is scarce. Today, she is hunting the rarest creature on Earth. But not to eat. Today, she's looking for a mate. She spreads her scent throughout her territory. Strong winds carry the pheromones south. Female dragons mate once every 7 years, yet this mature female has never seen a male dragon. Nevertheless, every year when she comes into season, instinct commands her to play out the rituals of attraction. Her season is almost finished, and the window will close for another year.
Another change of plan. Something interesting about a half-mile below the cave. The melting snow has revealed unusual features on the rock. But to the casual observer, they could be anything, perhaps the result of some odd geological process. But me, I've got fire on my mind. And these rocks look like they've been scorched.
No, don't worry about samples. I need you to follow this line and look for more burn marks. And tread carefully, watch for hidden crevasses. Okay, approximately 2 hours due south from the drop-off point, heading towards the scene of death. Can you take a GPS reference? Okay. Evidence of discoloration of the rock. Seems to have been subjected to a blast of intense heat. It's literally scarred the rock.
These rocks have been burned to melting point in symmetrical lines. The dimensions are frightening. Lightning couldn't do this. Forest fire? It's not likely. We're halfway up a mountain at the edge of a glacier. The lair is nearby. Was there some kind of fight?
The female returns to her den, a network of caves melted into dense glacial ice. Despite the cold temperatures outside, in here the temperature is relatively warm. Like an igloo, the thick walls retain heat. But the mountain dragon has another line of defense against the cold. From her marine ancestor, she's inherited a blood protein that prevents her tissues from freezing. It has proved vital to her species as they are forced into increasingly inhospitable habitats. Soon it will be autumn, and her metabolism will slow as she prepares to hibernate through the bitter winter.
This is it. Why would you choose such a remote and hospitable place to live? Come on. Well, the police have done their job. Now it's our turn. Set up ultrasonic mapping and grid digital tiles of all the surfaces. We need to get a clear picture of what this place looked like 600 years ago. Can you begin excavation of the floor and the walls? Any extra forensics that we may have missed that may give us some clues as to the nature of the creature?
I'm on it.
So this was where they found you.
Gridding tile 1. Set.
The laser scanner will help us build a map of this place, and then we can accurately record the position of everything that we find.
Any mapping results yet?
I've gridded most of the cave, but it's a labyrinth in here. It's anyone's guess what's behind these walls.
Glacial movement. Set those echo scan charges at minimum. We don't know how unstable this place is.
Echo scanning. Small explosive charges send shock waves into the ice. The echoes will tell us what's behind them.
What is it?
I'm not sure.
I know what this is. Dragon poop.
Looks like organic matter. It's beautifully preserved. Good work. Okay, bag it. Sorry. Evidence of bone shards. Look, these look like fruit stones. Date stone? Not many date palm trees in the Carpathians 600 years ago. It's possible that she strayed, but it's more likely that this is the feces of another. And so the next question, why would you travel such an immense distance across the continents and the climates? What could possibly attract you to this place?
Whatever dumped this had its last meal in a much warmer place. Somewhere a long way from here.
The female's curiosity is aroused. It is a sound she has never heard before, yet somehow it seems eerily familiar. She is compelled to investigate. Against all odds, a male mountain dragon has picked up our female's scent. He's a nomadic dragon from the Atlas Mountains of North Africa. His search for a mate has brought him across southern Europe to the Carpathian Mountains. Now he has found her. Instinct takes over. And they do what their kind has done for thousands of years. It is a courtship ritual that is as perilous as it is spectacular. At the height of her climb, they lock talons and drop in a dazzling free fall. It is the ultimate test of faith. The scorches in the mountain rock serve as mute testimony to a spectacular and successful dragon mating, and a species on the verge of extinction that finds hope in a new generation.
What is that? The initial investigation team must have had a lot on their minds. They sure overlooked this.
It's a nest. Judging from the size and shape of the calcified fragments and the curvature, I think it's safe to say that this egg was of considerable size. And given the fairly limited number of fragments, I think it's safe to say that only one egg would have been incubated at any one. Oh my God. Two eggs in a clutch, but only one of them made it.
Crocodiles bury their eggs in active compost to keep them warm. Dragons have a much more direct method. The eggshells have heat-resistant properties that can withstand intense temperatures. In fact, without this searing heat, the dragon chicks inside would die of cold. The rocks shield the eggs from the direct blast, but they also retain heat, releasing it over a long period and keeping the temperatures inside the nest stable. If she is to become a mother, careful and constant temperature control is essential over the long incubation period. Her mate returns from hunting. He has been unsuccessful again. After mating, female dragons become aggressive, deeply defensive when any creature approaches the nest, even a mate. In order to placate her for the lack of food, he brings a gift.